Hello, everyone. So last time we went over the basics of Beast Garden, like we talked about some of the currencies, we talked about springs, a little bit about beasts, and finally we ended up by creating a new battle. So now that we have a battle in front of us, we want to try to pick the best lineup. So each beast is made up of a certain element and of a certain ability. So for example, if I take Aquinas here, its element is water. So you can tell the element of something by their background. So the element of this beast is water, and its ability, which you can tell by this part here, it's electricity. So this is a beast that has an element water, and it attacks using its ability of electricity. You can see another one like Ultron. Ultron has a background which is yellow. It looks like electricity. So it is electricity, and it attacks using this element which is called earth. So when you pick your lineup, so say we pick some beasts here. Each beast is gonna attack randomly. Each one of my beasts is randomly gonna attack some of the enemy beasts, and you have no control over it. So it's possible that my pebble, the prawn, and the rat, it's possible that they might all attack the same enemy. They might all attack Kalima, they might all attack Taka, or randomly each might attack a different beast. So pebble might attack the first Kalima, prawn the second one, and rat might attack Taka or like the first Kalima again. You have no control over that. What you do have control over is choosing your beasts. So why is it important to choose? Well, how should you choose? If you go and press more, there's the how to play. It'll pop this up. So this is a good read. It'll show you how to create the battle like we did last time. And importantly, it'll show us this information. So first of all, we have these 7 different abilities. So there's water, fire, nature, which is made up of these leaves. This is magic. We have then wind or air, earth, and lightning. So we have these 7 elements. Your beast is going to have one of these as its element, and it's going to have one of these as its ability. And now the way that it's structured, clockwise is effectiveness. And it kind of makes sense. Let's focus on the first two, like on water and on fire. If I go clockwise, water is effective against fire, meaning water will beat fire. And if I keep going, fire is it's effective against nature. It kind of makes sense, right? Like if you throw fire on leaves, on trees, on grass, it's gonna burn, right? And similarly, if you throw water on fire, it's gonna go out. So it's like effective in that way. However, if I go counterclockwise, like leaf, is ineffective against fire. Like if you try to attack with leaves or with nature against fire, it's not going to be effective. Same thing if I keep going, water is ineffective against, fire is ineffective against water. So there's two things, there's effectiveness and there's ineffectiveness. Why is this important? Well, if I choose a beast that has an effective ability, I'll gain a bonus. So if we go ahead and read this, the team damage bonus, there's 2 parts. For effectiveness, you have a chance of gaining 25%. For ineffectiveness, you have a chance of gaining minus 5%. There's these 2 things. Let's first focus on this one. How can you gain 25%? So we go back here. Let's check this simple battle. So we already know what water and what nature is. Let's ignore magic for a second, and we'll focus on the water and on the uh, nature. So on prawn and on taka. For water, okay, I need something that's effective against it. I can go to the how to play, or I can press this question mark. It'll show me the same circle we had before. So this is water. And lightning is effective against water. Again, it's one of those things that kind of makes sense. Lightning should be strong against water. Okay, then I'll need to choose something that has a lightning attack like the Stratus. So Stratus, its type is wind or air because of the white background, and it attacks using lightning. So this lightning is effective against prawn. Right now I have a 25% bonus, and I keep going. With Taka, its type is nature. Okay, so I need something with a fire attack. Well, I can choose Vulcanus. It has a fire attack. So far, I have a 50% bonus. Great. Well, now we can talk about beak, which is a magic element. Again, very important that I'm looking at the background of of these beasts. So beak, its background is this purple, not purple, it's whatever that color is. So it's magic. And if I go back here, or again, I can press the question mark, or even so the question mark here, you'll show the circle again. But it's also shown here, like water beats fire, nature beats magic. So I'll need to put something with a nature attack to beat that magic. Well, I can just go with Taka. So Taka will attack with its nature. So not, it's not, as we mentioned before, not necessarily that Taka is gonna attack this specific beast, but as long as I have a nature attack, I will get a 25% bonus. So currently we have a 75% bonus, which is great, right? However, it's very important that we keep reading the catch. The same is true for your opponent. So the enemy team might also get a 25% bonus depending on if they have an effective ability as well. So let's see, do they have something effective against me? Let's first check Stratus. Stratus is a wind type. What is strong against wind? Magic. Magic is effective against wind. You can also see it here. If I keep going with the clockwise for effectiveness, we said that nature beats magic and magic beats wind. So technically, I'm giving them a 25% bonus currently because Beak, with its magic attack, it can attack my Stratus. So it's actually maybe better I don't put this beast, I put some other beast that has a magic attack. And I happen to have an Aquanus, so I can go with that. My Aquanus has a magic attack, so I still hurt Prawn, but it doesn't have. But they don't have an electricity that can attack my Aquanus, so I don't give them a bonus for Aquanus. Okay, what about Vulcanus? So Vulcanus has a fire background. Well, Prawn has a water attack, so they can gain a 25% bonus because of that. So I shouldn't really choose. I shouldn't really choose. Uh, Bulk there. Well, what other options I have? I can choose Crocodix. However, if I choose Crocodix, Taka has a nature attack. They'll get a bonus because if you're maybe haven't memorized it yet, nature is strong against magic. For the stuff that's not maybe intuitive, like oh water beats fire, that makes sense. But like why would nature beat magic? I'm not sure if that's something that's just in games, but in this game it is. Nature will beat magic, so I can't really choose Croc here. Um, I can. So I think currently in the game, Croc and Volk are the only beasts with fire attack. There's also Malcor, but that's a really rare legendary at the moment. Not a lot of people. You might not have this as an option, so I would simply go without a fire attack if I can't. So it's always better not to give your. It's almost always better not to give the enemy any bonus, and that's what we're trying to do here. So I'll assume I don't have Malcor, I'll simply won't choose a fire attack. So I might go with, say, another Aquanus. Finally, what about attack? Do they have something do they have a fire attack? No, they don't. So currently with my lineup, what am I getting? I'm getting a 50% bonus. Why? The nature attack from Taka will attack the magic of Beak. Might not necessarily attack it, but I do gain a bonus because my nature is effective against the uh, magic. And then we have Aquanus, it's effective against, its electricity is effective against Prawn. And very important, you know this, I'm only getting a 50%. Just because I have two electricity attacks, that doesn't mean I'll get an extra 25%. It's only once in this scenario. So if we read this very carefully, it's saying for each element of the opponent's beast, where you have an ability in your team that is effective against it, you will get a 25%. So for each prawn, there was only one prawn, so I'm only getting a 25% for that prawn. For each beak, there's only one beak, so I'm getting a 25%. For each Taka, I couldn't put a fire attack, so I'm only getting a 50% bonus. Okay. But let's see another example. What about this one? So here there's three magic elements. Croc, Kalima, and Beak, they all have a magic background. So you might think, okay, if I put a Taka, then I might get a 25% because Taka will attack one of them. And I might put another one, that's another 25%. I'll put three and I get 75%, right? You're correct. If I put three, I will get 75%, but I don't need to put three. One is enough. Why? Again, let's go back. It's really important we read this carefully. For each element of the opponent where you have an ability, all they're saying is you have an ability. They're not saying that you have to have it more than once. Once is enough. For each opponent where you have an ability that's effective against their element, you'll get a 25%. So here, it's really enough if you put one Taka, one nature attack, you'll get the 75% bonus. Now this might be okay to put, even though Croc could attack with its fire against my Taka. So technically I'm giving them a 25% bonus when I put Taka, but this might be a scenario where it's okay because I'm getting a 75% bonus. Now if you have a beast that can, like here, we could use Heartburn, but that's a legendary, so not everybody might have it. I will get a 75% because Heartburn will attack with nature, and I won't give them any bonus because they don't have a water attack that will hurt my Heartburn. But assuming you only have a Taka, maybe you might have a Zektier, but hey, Beak will attack with its magic against the Wind of Zektier, so you'll still be giving them that 25%. Okay. So let's just repeat that once. As long as you have an attack that's effective, then for each one of those elements, you'll get a 25%. So one Taka will get me 25%. And if we're talking all I have is commons, now I can go ahead and put maybe two prawns, or I could put two Volks. So really, I'm using all commons, and I have a good chance to beat this team that has a Crocodile, which is an epic beast. So you you always have a chance to beat a team made up of legendaries and beasts or legendary epics using only commons. Okay, so I think we covered the 25%. In order to gain it, you're gonna have to put something that's effective against your opponent, but you always have to be careful not to give them anything that's effective against you. So you don't want to give them a bonus either. Again, maybe something like this where you're actually getting a lot more, or maybe if they only had even if you're getting like 50% and you're giving them 25%, that might be a good enough trade. Rarely there are cases where, okay, you'll give them 25% and you'll get a 25%. It's rarely you want to go with that, uh, unless maybe you know that you're going to be doing more damage. What about the -5%? Well, remember when we're moving clockwise, that's effective. So water is effective against fire. But when we move counterclockwise, we're talking ineffective. So if I put something like, let's go over here. If I put a Malcor, remember, Malcor has a fire attack. Fire is effective against the Taka, so I will get a 25% bonus, but fire is ineffective against Prawn, because prawn is made up of water. So I'll actually also be getting a -5%. So in total, I'll be getting a 20% from putting Malcor. Why? 25% from Taka, 5% minus from prawn, that ends up being 20%. So let's go ahead and read that one more time. For each element of the opponent's beats where you have an ability in your team that is ineffective against, you will get a -5%, and of course the same thing for the opponent. So since they only have one prawn, I'm going to be getting -5%. But however, if we had this thing here, if I had put, say I put three wolves. So a Whooper has a wind attack, and wind is ineffective against magic. If I only have one Whoop, that's enough for me to get -15%. Because for each element of the enemy team where I have something that is ineffective against it, I'm going to be getting a minus 5%. For each element of the enemy beast, of the opponent beast, where you have an ability that is ineffective against it, you're going to be getting a minus 5%. So just like it's enough for me to put one Taka to get the 75%, similarly, if I have something that's ineffective, just one element would be enough for me to get minus 15%. Now, however, if I go back here, say we put 3 Volks. For the Volk, I'm only going to be getting one minus 5%. Even though I have 3 Volks, I'm not going to get minus 15% because for each element of the opponent where I have an ability that is ineffective, I'm going to get a minus 5% for each. Well, they only happen to have one prawn, so I only get minus 5% once in this scenario. So, to wrap it up here, the idea is you want to maximize how much 25% you will get, so up to a 75%. And you want to also maximize how much they will be getting a minus 5%. Of course, you don't want to get minus 5% yourself. So in this scenario, if using my beast, the best thing that I could do here is probably a Malcore, so I can get a 25%, but I'll also get a minus 5%. Then maybe Taka, and then actually instead of Taka, I could have used Pine. Why? A Pine has a wind attack, so it's also going to be effective against Beak. However, it's also electricity, so the enemy team will be getting a minus 5% because their prawn will be hitting my Pine. So they'll get a minus 5% because of that. Finally, what we do have left, we have to take care of Aquinas. So sorry, prawn, so I can choose an Aquinas. There is a beast called Volt that's basically both an electricity element and an attack element, and that would have been best against prawn, but I don't have one. So if we want to calculate everything, how much of a bonus will I be getting? I'll be getting a 70% damage bonus because fire against nature, leaf against beak, against magic, and here electricity against water against prawn. So that's a 75%, but I'll also be getting a minus 5% because fire is weak against water, so I'll be getting a 70% total. And the enemy team, what do they get? I don't have a fire, I don't have wind, and I don't have magic element, so they won't be getting any 25%, but they'll be getting, I guess, just minus 5% because water against here. So if I chosen Pine or if I had chosen Taka, it would have been the same thing in terms of they will be getting a minus 5%. Because either the magic will attack Taka, that's a minus 5%, or the water would have attacked the electricity of Pine, and that would have been 5%. So this might be the best lineup that I can do with my beasts against this lineup here. Okay, so once you're done choosing your lineup, all you have to do is then press Start Battle and choose a certain difficulty, which we'll be talking about next time. What's the correct difficulty you should choose, and why would you want to increase difficulty? It's now, as you can see, when I increase the difficulty, they will be getting more damage, and I'll be getting more alpha. So the reason you might want to give more damage is so you can gain more alpha, but that's not the only reason. We'll talk about that though next time. But assuming you leave it as 100%, now you know how to choose the best lineup. You pretty much pick the best. You have the best chance of winning at the moment. Okay. So we'll be talking about the percentage difficulty next time. See you.